Have you ever been excited by a new idea, inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which celebrates organizations and individuals who are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is the Spark Awards.
The Spark Awards 2016 is made possible in part by the following.
Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a sponsor of the Spark Awards 2016.
Lipscomb & Fitz Insurance has been serving the Mid-South for over 60 years. We're proud to help honor those who share our goal of supporting our community, giving back, and igniting positive change. Lipscomb & Fitz is proud to be a sponsor of the Spark Awards 2016.
Since 1964, Memphis Theological Seminary has worked to equip men and women of all races and faiths with the spark to do ministry for the real world. We're grateful to serve our community and proud to support WKNO.
Champion Awards and Apparel bring brands to life on all types of custom printed products. T-shirtchampions.com makes it easy for individuals and organizations to promote their cause and celebrate achievement. Champion is proud to have created the Spark statue and to sponsor the Spark Awards.
The Rotary Club of Memphis is grounded in the principle of fellowship through service. We're proud to sponsor the Spark Awards 2016 in memory of our longtime member and WKNO personality, Jim Eichner, and to recognize and celebrate those in our community who are serving others and making a difference.
Additional funding provided by Christian Brothers University, by Meriton, by YX Genomics, and by SERVES. Welcome to the third annual Spark Awards Show. The Spark Awards recognizes and honors individuals, nonprofits, corporations, and schools in 13 categories who are igniting change and making a positive impact in the greater Memphis community. And now your hosts, Tom Prestigiacomo and Tracy Bethea.
It's great to be here, Tracy.
Glad to be here.
And thank you for sharing your family and your winners with us. This has got to be one of the most inspiring get-togethers that happens in the Mid-South. It's our third annual Spark Awards. Now, the people that we get to celebrate in this room tonight come from the many different backgrounds and the many different walks of life that are the Mid-South.
And tonight we will honor businesses who make the effort to do good in our community, organizations whose purpose is to serve others, educators who uplift, strengthen, and nurture the young people who are our future, individuals doing what is in their power to make the world a better place.
That's right, Tracy. We believe it's important to share the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference so that they can inspire us and make us ask the question to ourselves, what can I do? That's what tonight's honorees asked themselves once upon a time. What can I do?
And you know, every winner here has a story worth sharing. And recently, each of them sat down to share their stories with us. From the youngest award winner to this year's Legacy Award recipient, we have 13 unique stories of inspiration, hard work, commitment, friendship, and service.
That's right, Tracy. And before we get started, let's hear a word from the man who keeps the spark blazing. He's the president of City Current and host of the TV show The Spark, Jeremy Park.
Each day in the Mid-South, there are countless organizations and individuals rolling up their sleeves, giving back and helping others. These everyday heroes are doing things like mentoring and teaching our children and serving those among us who need shelter and are hungry. We typically don't see their efforts showcased during a newscast because the do-gooders don't seek attention. But these community champions are working hard every day, and we're a better city thanks to their efforts. 4 years ago, we launched a monthly television series on WKNO called The Spark. The show focuses on sharing these positive stories so we can see the good taking place in our community, be inspired, and learn how to make an even greater difference ourselves. Wanting to spotlight even more upstanders in our community, we launched the Spark Awards 3 years ago. It's an opportunity for you as the public to nominate individuals and organizations in 13 categories, and then for us to be able to share some of their stories in this special broadcast. This year we received a record amount of nominations, and we had the help of a very generous organization who selected our winners, the Rotary Club of Memphis. Let's now learn more about the Rotary Club of Memphis and how the winners were selected.
The Rotary Club of Memphis is an organization of 200 members who actively participate in a variety of community service projects. For over a century, Rotary has been serving and giving back in the Mid-South, which is why we're so proud to be a partner in the Spark Awards. Our members reviewed the nominations received from the general public earlier this year. We considered the nominees' philanthropic leadership, volunteerism and activism, and impact within our 5-county Memphis metro area before selecting the winners in each category. The Rotary Club of Memphis is pleased to help present this year's winners of the Spark Awards.
Now, the first set of awards we're presenting tonight focus on corporate philanthropy. It's a formal sounding term which means neighbors helping neighbors. Co-workers organizing to spend time watching movies with kids undergoing medical treatment. Customers donating money to guess how many frill picks are embedded in the ceiling of a local restaurant. And friends coming together on weekends to help a former president fix up houses. That's just a taste of what I'm speaking of when I say corporate philanthropy. Businesses strive in a community because they're part of that community. Presenting the corporate awards tonight is Chief Manager of Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance, Johnny Pitts. The first award in the corporate category is for companies with less than 100 employees.
Reynolds, Bone & Griesbecker, RBG, is a mid-sized CPA firm. We've been in East Memphis for 100 years, and we specialize in tax and audit. We've always been located in Memphis. We're a Memphis firm, and we wanted to make sure that we gave back to Memphis. So this summer, we dedicated 100 days to serving the Mid-South. And what we did is we let our employees and our clients vote on organizations that they felt deserved attention. So we took those, we sent out a survey to employees and to our clients. We took the top organizations and we dedicated service acts to those. Something we really pride ourselves on is how we treat others, which is a little golden rule-ish, but we wanted to take that same level of service that we give to our clients and that we give to our employees and make sure that our community knows that we support them also. We wanted to serve healthcare, children, feed the hungry. There was so much to do, and Memphis is a wonderful city for community service and for just amazing nonprofit organizations. So what we wanted to do was make sure that we had a variety of organizations to serve, and between those we split up into activities. We helped the Wolf River Conservancy. We set up an aid tent for Cycle the Greenway. We did a movie night at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We did a game day at Le Bonheur. We fed hungry senior citizens through MIFA's Meals on Wheels. So those are just a few of the organizations that we were able to serve.
What's been some of the feedback? Because I know on your end, 100 days, you're thinking, wow, okay, at some point my team's going to get a little tired. But the reality is they've actually been just energized by this. I
was worried about that, about fatigue. I mean, they're accountants. I'm in marketing. I'm not an accountant, but we have 50 CPAs at our firm, and so you think, how can you keep the energy up for 100 days, and how is that possible? Because to span the days, we had different activities and drives, and that's taking people away from the main reason why we've lasted 100 years, which is to do quality CPA work. But I was amazingly impressed at the dedication and the time that our employees gave to these community service acts and to these drives. Our employees really care about Memphis and about its people. So it's been amazing to be a part of. I was glad that I was able to organize it and to witness just the amazing amount of participation we had from our employees. Seeing patients and their families interact and doing something fun with them, I think that's the stuff that keeps you going. Anytime you get fatigued with these projects or you think, how much more can I ask someone to do, you take people out to to St. Jude, to Le Bonheur, and you get to see that what you're doing makes an impact, that it matters.
That's John Griesbeck of Reynolds, Bone and Griesbeck PLC, accepting the Spark Award from Johnny Pitts.
Our second award in the corporate category is for companies with 100 to 499 employees.
Huey's is a family restaurant business. We have 8 locations. We have 7 in the Memphis area and then 1 in South Haven, Mississippi. My father was Thomas Boggs, and he started working for Huey's probably back in 1975, and he just really believed in giving back to the community and really believed that if you took care of your employees and you took care of the community, then they would give back to you.
Talk about the frill picks, the toothpicks. I mean, you walk in, you see them in the ceiling, but there's a really great purpose behind it.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't aware of the frill pick contest, but we do a frill pick contest once a year with all 8 stores at different times. So someone back in the day thought it would be cute to take the frill pick out of the sandwich, put it in a plastic straw, and blow up into the ceiling in hopes that it would stick in the ceiling. So now what we do is we encourage our bartenders and our servers to sell frill pick guesses to our customers. And then they guess how many frill picks are up in the ceiling for $1. It's a $1 donation. And then whoever guesses the closest amount of how many frill picks are up in the ceiling, then they win a $100 Huey's gift card.
And you've raised a lot of dollars doing this.
Yes, we have. We have raised probably close to $90,000 for the zoo.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And so beyond that, I mean, the thing that I love is that it's not just financially. I mean, you financially give to a lot of nonprofits, but you encourage your team to go out and volunteer to give back.
Absolutely. We couldn't do what we do without our employees and our managers. The frill pick is a great example. We just recently did a store-wide fundraiser for the VA Medical Center. It was a competition between all 8 stores. We ended up raising over $11,000 worth of shoes and snacks and eraser boards. They get so competitive, they're just so pumped up about it. They buy into it as much as we do, so it's amazing.
And you make it very easy. You donate obviously a lot of food, gift cards for schools, for organizations. Talk about kind of that relationship side of working with nonprofit.
We actually give away a lot of gift cards to nonprofit organizations for their silent auctions, for their fundraisers. We also buy like banner ads and stuff like that for schools. We are continuing to just try to do as much as we can, really. It really makes me proud that we've been able to continue to do what our dad wanted us to do, and that was to continue to give back to your community and your city. You know, employees really want to work for a company that are giving and want to make things better for other people in the city. And I'm really excited that we've been able to do that.
Samantha Boggs Dean is accepting the trophy on behalf of Huey's Restaurants from Johnny Pitts.
Our final award in the corporate category is for companies with 500 employees or more.
ServiceMaster is the leading provider of essential services to your homes across the country. We are proud to be the parent company to such leading brands as American Home Shield, Amerispec, Mary Maids, Furniture Medic, ServiceMaster Clean, ServiceMaster Restore, and Terminix. We serve as our platform. We're excited as far as that because we serve service as a part of our name. And for us, we wear it proudly. So we serve in terms of us is about our community, it's about our people. We recently, for our We Serve Day, which is the 3rd Friday in August, we partner with, we had over 20 organizations. Ave Maria is one that comes to mind. Ave Maria in the sense that we had employees whose grandparents were there and that they are residents of that center. And for them to be able to go into that center and be able to participate with their grandparents was huge. Memphis Gay and Lesbian Community Center was one that we did a lot of work there. We have a Pride ERG. So for them to be able to do that in an environment that was safe and free was amazing. We have youth villages. It is one of the favorites that we do. The Humane Society, I mean, there were 20 different organizations, and the Alpha Omega Veteran Services, I'm an Air Force veteran, so that one was near and dear to my heart for us to be able to go there and partner with them. So there were lots of great projects for us this year and great partners.
Talk about your partnership with Habitat for Humanity.
Well, Habitat for Humanity is one of our longest standing relationships. We're actually, this year's our 10th home that we've built with Habitat. We've done a multitude of projects with them, from this being our 10th year of building a home, but we've done other things such as revitalization projects. We've done beautification projects with Habitat. We've kind of nicknamed Bethel Road in Uptown Service Master Way. So we've done a lot of work there, and we're extremely proud of our partnership and relationship with Habitat.
Well, and I know that even for them, you guys brought your big vehicle in for a cooling station here when the former president, Jimmy Carter, was here with Rosalind, his wife, and talk about kind of that excitement of seeing your team out there in huge numbers building these homes.
For us, having the Service Master experience, there was just another extension of who we are in what we try to do in terms of offering our services to the community, to our partners. In addition to the Service Master experience, we gave them use of our registration tool so they could go into an automated process for the Carter Work project, because it was a big project for them. And for the thought of them doing that manually, we thought, well, you know what, we can help. What other ways can we help? And so we gave them the use of our software, and they were able to do everything electronically. So it was a big help to them, I think.
That's Velvet Graham accepting the Spark Award for Service Master from Johnny Pitts.
The second category in this presentation are the nonprofit awards. Nonprofits are organizations which exist to serve a public purpose and to achieve a public benefit. Nonprofits are focused on improving the quality of life for others. What do they do specifically? Well, this year our honorees happen to be relatively young organizations. So today and tonight we'll be talking to the founders of these organizations, you know, the people who poked around them and said, this needs to be done, and so they did it. Presenting the nonprofit awards tonight will be Sally Stover, marketing manager of WKNO. Our first award is for nonprofits with an operating budget under $1 million.
My friend Devin and I, without knowing each other, moved here in 2012 through Teach for America, and I became a teacher at an elementary school, and he became a teacher at Kingsbury High School. We just met and realized, hey, you played rugby, I played rugby, why don't we coach rugby, because we gained so much from it as students ourselves. And so we figured, how can we not share this with kids that were, you know, teaching in the classroom? So we wanted to do high school, and he had his own high school at Kingsbury, so we went over there, had an interest meeting, and had this wild collection of people show up. And you know, we had some of the best athletes in the school to kids that have never even put on a pair of cleats. And so we went out to Geisman Park down the street, real dusty park, had kids practicing in socks and jeans, and just learning how to sweat and be an athlete and be part of a team. And it was fantastic. And we saw growth immediately in their academics and in their character growth and their ability to socialize and just grow as people. And we said, wow, we have something here. In some of the parts of our city that we work in, we focus on demographics of low-income communities, and we try to get rugby as an accessible sport to minority populations, because it's, in our country, traditionally a suburban sport. A lot of private schools play it, and that's no secret. That's just the way rugby is, and a lot of other non-traditional sports like lacrosse and things like that. So we're trying to break those barriers, and we realize there's all these charter schools around Memphis too that don't have the budget for football, and you know, basketball had only a 12-man roster, and there wasn't really a lot of opportunities for girls, because the football, if they do have football, you know, girls don't play football. So we're like, how do we expand this? Is there a space for it? Is there room for it? And can we solve any problems in the city with it? we realized really fast that we could, so we expanded immediately to where I coach now, Power Center Academy. And since then, we're almost 5 years in now. We've had kids that started out with attendance problems in school that are now on Division I college rugby scholarships and winning national championships. And we have even students that got to Tufts University for academic scholarships. So it's not just rugby, we're big on academic growth, and that's why we have the kids on our teams get private tutors and trained mentors to make sure that they're not just growing as athletes, but as people.
When you look at what you've already accomplished, I mean, obviously to have national championship players now, what makes you the most proud?
The players in college is something I'm extremely proud of, but what makes me the most proud is that we have players that graduated and they felt so impacted by the program that they're coming back to coach and mentor the kids that are in it now. And then we have kids that are even saying things like, Coach, when I get out of college, I want to do the same thing that we did in Memphis here in another city, because they understand that the model we've had and created and the impact it's brought is something that's duplicatable, and we want to scale it. And now we have our own kids wanting to do the same thing, so it's the most rewarding thing.
Here we have Shane Young receiving the Spark Award from WKNO's Sally Stover.
Our second award in this category, the nonprofit category, is for organizations with an operating budget between $1 and $5 million.
Best Buddies Tennessee opened in 2010 in the Nashville area and expanded into Memphis in 2013. We create friendships between students with intellectual and developmental disabilities into friendships with students without intellectual and developmental disabilities, making them a buddy pair. We are creating inclusion throughout the schools, and we're creating first-time friendships that just normally weren't happening organically, and that's what we're trying to do within our schools.
And you know this because you have personal experience with this. Your son, Hunter, describe, as a mother's perspective, the monumental importance that Best Buddies plays with these children.
Yes, my son Hunter Swain, he has a rare chromosome disorder. He's 20 years old, and I started noticing that he was not getting invited to parties. He wasn't getting any phone calls. My girls were enjoying their childhood, and he just didn't have any friends. So that's the day that I realized that maybe we need to get Best Buddies into Memphis. I tell this story all the time. I think the happiest day of my life was the first time teenage boys knocked at our door and asked Hunter to come out and hang out. Some of my favorite events that we do at Best Buddies is our Best Buddies Prom, and that's when all the buddy pairs from across the Mid-South come together and enjoy a night of dancing. It's just, we have a salon that will shut down and do hair for them all day long, and hair and makeup, so they're all ready to walk the red carpet. And just to see, over 500 students coming together, and half the room are students with intellectual and developmental disabilities and half are not, and everyone's just having the best time. We also have our Friendship Walk, and our Friendship Walk is where we walk for inclusion. And so buddy pairs and people from all over the city come out to Shelby Farms, and we do a walk, and we walk for inclusion. And those are my two favorite events every year.
How would you sum up the experience of Best Buddies?
It's been an amazing thing to watch. I love it when I'm at a grocery store, or if I'm just out in the city and I see a buddy pair together, and I get to watch it from the background and just know that none of this existed. And now there are buddy pairs that I don't even know their names anymore. I used to know everybody pairs names, and I knew where they went to school. So it's really cool for me to watch. I see stuff on social media, buddy pairs doing stuff together, or something that a school has done to bring inclusion into the school. And sometimes it's overwhelming, but I'm very humbled by the generosity of everybody in this city, because it took a lot of people to get behind us. It took a lot of companies. It took, it just took a lot, and people just really, really started to understand why we needed this in our city.
That's Melissa Todd of Best Buddies receiving the Spark Award from Sally Stover.
The final award in the nonprofit category is for organizations with an operating budget over $5 million.
Memphis is a city with lots of great things happening, but some other big needs, and one of the biggest needs is for primary health care, basic medical care for people. And there is a big shortage of physicians and the ability to get primary care in parts of our city. So our mission is to provide a safety net of primary care for people in those communities.
And you were the recipient of a very large grant, or part of a grant, to be able to expand this, correct?
Yeah, that grant is from the federal government to train young doctors. It's really to develop a workforce of young physicians who want to keep that promise they made to themselves when they decided to become doctors, to serve people and to care about humanity. So it's a grant to help train young physicians in our settings.
And you have actual physical locations, 3 of them?
We do. Resurrection Health has 3 locations. Our biggest is in Parkway Village on American Way. We're also in Whitehaven and in Fraser.
And talk about the disparity, because there are, as you alluded to, certain areas where it's very difficult, and that's what you're focused on, is not only creating the physical locations, but also the doctors live in those areas.
That's true, yeah. There are actually enough doctors for Memphis, but the distribution of them is not even, not just, I guess would be one way to put it. So yeah, we have people living in the communities that I just mentioned, and we work hard to try to deliver basic health care. The diseases that kill most Americans are high blood pressure and diabetes, things like asthma and HIV. So that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting to take care of people with those sorts of conditions, and we do it, as you mentioned, by living and working in the communities. Doing primary care in the settings we're in isn't at the top of the prestige or the income ladder, but there are people who really, especially from their faith motivation, want to do that. And so finding them, and we draw from across the country. There's only 2 or 3 of our 23 residents who are from Tennessee. We've got folks who've come from New York to California, and they live in these communities, as we said. They care for patients, they're mentored by older physicians, and then we send them out. About half of them remain in Memphis, and historically we've only graduated 3 classes thus far, but half of them go to other cities or even overseas to difficult places.
And what makes you proud when you look at, not only the longer legacy, but more importantly with Resurrection Health, the difference you're making?
Yeah, I think pride's difficult. I think in terms more of obedience to God and to well-being, good things for our neighbors. And so I do have a certain sense of satisfaction knowing that hundreds of times every day people are cared for, that surgeries are being done, that babies are being delivered, that people with diseases like HIV are being cared for, and that, Lord willing, it's for the glory of God and the good of our neighbors.
Dr. David Pepperman is representing Resurrection Health, accepting the Spark Award from Sally Stover.
Our third category of awards focuses on education. There are few things as important to the continuing life of a community as the education of our children. It is a challenge of which failure cannot be an acceptable option because it is our future. There are 3 awards in this category. Our first award is given to a school with a unique and exemplary sense of mission.
Grambling Elementary School is a school that has around 1,000 children. We serve our neighborhood kids and kids who are outside of our neighborhood. We serve kids who are in Cordova, Lakeland. We have kids coming from Millington to our location, which is on 3950 Summer Avenue. So it makes it a big melting pot of different types of students, socioeconomic, gender, ethnic, religious. It's a big, again, as I said, it's a big melting pot of students, and that's what makes this school such a great school. The teachers have to understand that the students come from different backgrounds, so they have to meet the needs of all the kids and make sure that we all understand the differences and celebrate those differences. We will have, as today we had a taste test around the world. So we had a 5th grade class who was tasting foods from India, from Mexico, from Czechoslovakia. We had a lot of dancing going on. So we have to have the teachers be open enough to say, hey, we're going to celebrate the differences in all of our kids, because it is something we should be celebrating, because we're all different. And that's what makes this place so great, because it is, again, a melting pot. I keep saying that word, but if we hesitate or if we don't celebrate our differences, then we're missing a big chance to learn from each other.
Talk about both from a special needs standpoint, but also a clue. You cover a wide spectrum there as well, even early on with pre-K.
Correct. We have around, school-wide, we have around over 300 CLUE gifted kids. But what's great or spotlight about our school is we have a special needs pre-K class. And we also have a pre-K class for the gifted students. So we're able to serve the needs of all the students that come to us, no matter what age. And so from our pre-K CLUE gifted class, we get students from all over the city. And from our pre-K special needs class, we get kids from all over the city. I had a visitor yesterday, and they were blown away with how our teachers interact with the kids and how the kids interact with the teachers. It's a positive culture. We celebrate each other's success. We want to know that, hey, we're all different, but we're fine with that. That's the good thing. That's about this place. When we look at each other, we don't see the same type people that we are. We see differences. So we want to celebrate that. So that's the culture of our school, is that it's warm and inviting, but we're also about the task of learning, because we want our kids to be successful.
There we have Principal Pete Johnson accepting Graham Woods Award from Jeremy Park.
Our Educator Award recognizes the achievement of teaching in the classroom and beyond, recognizing the profound influence that caring and capable teachers can have on young students.
I can remember when a teacher used to ask me, what did I want to be when I grew up? And I would say things like doctor, lawyer, and things that I feel like teachers wanted to hear, but deep down inside, I really didn't feel like I could be that. So by me knowing that on the front end going in, I have to be everything for every student. And it may sound like a big job, but actually it isn't. Because when you look at it, these students really just need someone to believe in, someone that they can trust. And once they realize that Mr. Brown doesn't live under the desk and he's just living at the school waiting on us to come every day, and that I'm actually a real person, they respond to me very well.
When I say no excuses, describe what that means to you, but more importantly to the students.
No excuses. Each of the students have learned what no excuses is. It's, you don't falter to the extremities of the world, and you push forward, and you don't take no for an answer. You look past the scope of things that you can't see, and you rely on your faith. And the camp that I hold, dedicated to my friend Jamel Jones at NOE, is a week-long program where the students come and they get to participate in things like team building, different classes that are expounded on leadership, and they come and have fun, and we have different guest speakers to come in, and it's all about not accepting where you are, but looking to where you can be and operating off that train of thinking.
What inspired you to be a teacher?
What inspired me to be a teacher was someone like me. It's hard to find great teachers, but when you find that one teacher that believes in you and enables you to see past your circumstances, and that's what I am to my students. They don't know, they're not old enough or mature enough to know the importance of education. So until they get to the point where they can decipher and they can realize what education really means, I have to be that reason. And once I get to once I get them to believe in me, it's nothing that they won't do for me. They perform on tests and do what I need them to do until they get to the point that I need them and I can let them go and they understand by then.
Excuses are monuments of nothingness. Those who use these tools of incompetence are masters of nothingness. Therefore we add no E.
That's Derek Brown of Riverview Middle School receiving his award from Jeremy Park.
Our final award in the education category recognizes an outstanding example of leadership in education.
I've been at Rhodes since 2003, and it is a remarkable institution for me. It's the smallest place I'd ever worked before going to Rhodes was the University of Memphis. So I've enjoyed it enormously.
And talk about your role, because you are a convener, you bring the community together on campus, off campus, everything in between.
My role is to serve in many ways, in a functional way, as the ambassador from Rhodes to Memphis. I'm in community relations. My territory is Memphis, Tennessee, or more appropriately, Front Street to Collierville. I think from the college's perspective, it's important that we have conversations with entities in Memphis that include schools and nonprofit organizations and business and industry to find mutual good between their entities and our college. And that's what I do. So I convene people as part of that process to get smart people in rooms to make sense of how can we do something that would make Memphis a better place.
And talk about your role, because you're very good at working with students, especially grade school students, navigating their path to college and beyond. Why is that so important to sit down with students and mentor them and guide them, not only in college, but before they even get to college?
I think all of us have an obligation in many ways to help those coming behind us. I was fortunate to be the beneficiary of a great educational system, public institutions throughout, but learned enormously. And there were people who helped me, and I think we have a responsibility to help those who are in schools now imagine what life can be and begin setting the expectation within self of, I will go to college, I will do these things. And I think a lot of it's just the attitude with which these students are prepared to succeed. And I think there are times it takes encouragement from those of us who've been down that path.
And then you serve on a lot of boards. You have Let's Innovate Through Education, Memphis Challenge, Overton Park Conservancy. Talk about your board service and why that's so important.
I think the service on the boards that are in the space of education are important because it gives me an opportunity to kind of keep a finger on the pulse of how we're doing as a community and encouraging young people to begin acting on those dreams of going to college.
You're known for your shrimp broils and all sorts of stuff where you bring people together before games and you serve a lot of food. So talk about the importance of being the cook.
I love it. I enjoy cooking. I grew up in a family where Mom cooked the everyday stuff, Pop cooked the fun stuff, and I had 3 sisters, and I think Dad, for some reason, assumed the girls could learn to cook. He made me watch him cook, and it was painful to sit on a stool and watch Rude turn color. A lot of men of Cajun heritage cook, and so the biggest event is a Cajun Fest, which takes place on November 5 this year, and we'll probably cook for 1,200 people, and I doubt we'll have any left.
Bud Ritchie of Rhodes College is accepting his Leadership Award from Jeremy Park.
Our 4th set of awards in this presentation honor individuals who have taken noteworthy steps to help others and to better the world. Sometimes the world's problems seem pretty big, and it's hard to imagine what one person can do. But the question is a good starting point, as we'll see in these stories. How can I help someone in need? What can I do to give my life purpose? Who is going to do the hard work to make these things possible? Those questions were the start of a commitment to serve others. Here to present the finalists for our individual category is Bonnie Walker of the Rotary Club of Memphis. Our first award is the Individual Youth Award.
When my mom and I were driving home from the Memphis Farmers Market, I saw a homeless man standing on the sidewalk with, you know, the usual cardboard sign, and I just sort of thought, there's all these people that need help and assistance, and they're out on the streets fending for themselves, and it would be nice to be able to do something about that. My mom asked me, after I told her that I wanted to do something, she said, well, what? And I said, well, how about a bake sale? So, yeah, that's kind of where it started.
So why MIFA? Because I think it's neat to see the partnership between MIFA.
Well, we chose MIFA because we have friends that live up the street who work at MIFA, and we know that MIFA is a trustworthy organization.
Describe this event, because it's not just a bake sale. I mean, this is an event that you put on, so describe the event.
Well, usually I think the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so in November, in our front yard we'll set up some tables and we'll have cookies and chairs, and we have to wake up early to get all set. And then Frost Bakery, the past couple years we've asked them for donations, and they've happily agreed to donate baked goods to our sale, and so that's been great. And my mom works for Hilton, and the Doubletree branch of Hilton has these Doubletree cookies, and they'll sometimes donate a few of those, a few dozen. And yeah, we just try to reach out and get as much help as possible.
And what does it mean to you to think that, okay, starting at age 6, you see someone standing on the road, you say, I want to help them. Then all of a sudden it's, let's start a bake sale. And now you look at, after that point, almost $10,000. What does that mean to you? What does that mean?
A lot of people say that along these years, we've lost hope in the world, but I think that there's still, people are still good-hearted, and there's always still hope for the world, always good light left, because all these people come and they know that the money is going to MIFA, and even our neighbors across the street will just come, and sometimes they won't even buy cookies, they'll just drop off a donation for a check to go to MIFA, and that makes me think that there's still a lot of really good people in this world.
There's young philanthropist Matthew Stroud receiving his Spark Award from the Rotary Club's Bonnie Walker.
Our second award in the individuals category is the Collegiate Award.
I'm a senior at the University of Memphis. I'm about to graduate with my bachelor's degree in sports management in May, and I'm very excited. Got a few opportunities waiting on me to graduate, and I'm very excited and I'm ready to walk across that stage. Can't wait to put the cap and gown on. Can't wait.
And talk about starting this nonprofit to work with kids, teaching them basketball, but teaching them life skills.
Basketball changed my life, I can say. A message through basketball changed my life. Getting my GED was very hard. I took it 4 times. I didn't fail it 3 times. I never quit, so it just took me 4 times to get it. And I talked to my little brother. He the one that motivated me to get my GED. We was playing basketball one day outside. It was kind of raining on a Friday. And he told me, he was like, you're a high school dropout. You're gonna be around just like everybody else. You're not gonna be nothing. And we was playing ball at the time. And that's when I realized that through sports, you can send a message, you can raise awareness. And he did. I didn't know he looked at me like that. He just really, and we never stopped playing, so that really touched my heart. And after that, I'd never been the same. I just felt like I had to do something for him. And going to school, once I got my GED, that was the first step of accomplishing my goal. Because I never had dreams, never had goals until after that night of playing ball with my little brother. And I actually started dreaming. And I went to school, went to Walter State, played college ball, and I started seeing that not just single-parent homes, children in single-parent homes had trouble. Even kids with both parents have trouble. So I decided if I start this branching out, I can send a message through sports and let kids know that it's somebody that believes in them, and I'll be that person to believe in them.
Talk about how many kids you've worked with, talk about the power of using basketball, but also, too, more importantly, I mean, you're tutoring these kids, you're working with them after school. It's a lot more than just basketball.
It's a lot of, just to like name the number, a lot of them, so I don't know how many. But I'm just very passionate about it. I sit down with them, I let them know if they're having any problems or anything like that. I let them know that I can be here. If they're going through any family issues, and I'd be surprised what these kids actually will come and feel comfortable talking about, and I have to be that role model, and I have to be that man to let them know that, hey, you can get through this, and I give them my life experiences as well. And it's just been a blessing, you know, for me to be that role model when I know I needed it, so I'm just blessed to have it.
You're seeing Brandon Branch accept the Individual Collegiate Award from presenter Bonnie Walker of the Rotary Club of Memphis.
Our final award in the individuals category is the Adult Award.
Since 2011, I have been privileged to work for the Plow Foundation, which is a Memphis institution. I started as a program associate, and I was given the task of, let's figure out if aging is an area that we want to get into. Do we want to be more proactive in the field of aging? I was able to spend 90% of my time digging really deeply into that issue. We are currently in the implementation phase of several amazing projects related to senior hunger, related to senior engagement and learning about health and wellness, related to housing needs, and I'm a point person who gets to be involved with great organizations and really seeing impact in how we're changing the lives of older adults in our community every single day.
And you've been instrumental in not only doing the research, but pulling together, convening the resources, and then going out and securing huge grants for our community as well.
Yeah, you know, it's a process, it's a conversation, it's a discussion, but thus far we've brought in 5 different foundations, either regional or national, focused in aging. We recently, one of my partners, Meritan, received a grant from the Consumer Technology Association Foundation to help implement smart home technologies in some of their foster care homes, really using new techniques where you can take someone's blood pressure from far away, right? Or you can, even like the floor, you can check an older person's gait that's around falling. And so nurses can spend time doing, guess what? Nursing, instead of doing a lot of paperwork and that sort of thing. We're in discussions with the Weinberg Foundation out of Baltimore to see if they'll come in and we can do some models that they've implemented in Baltimore, thinking about replicating it here. So that is one of my favorite parts of my job.
Talk about personally, so volunteering, serving on boards, giving back.
There are so many things that I'm invested in, whether it's my neighborhood. Overton Park Conservancy, I have a lovely home in Midtown with my husband, and we can walk to the 11th Shell, and it's so important to me that we have great green space. That evolved into being a co-founder of Roots, which is a group that's getting young professionals talking about the park, building up donors for the future. Board engagement, whether it's Shelby County Books from Birth, the Family Safety Center of Memphis and Shelby County, doing incredible work helping victims of domestic violence. So I'm not an issue-specific person, and I know anyone who is invested in this community and who's watching this show knows that you fall in love with this town. And it is amazing how easily, if you put yourself out there, you can get plugged in.
That's Katie Midgley accepting the Spark Award from Bonnie Walker of the Rotary Club of Memphis.
Well, Tom, it's here, our final award of the evening. It's the Legacy Award. And this award is created to honor a long career of service, of generosity, of compassion, and hard work. A legacy is something that you create over your lifetime and in turn leave for others to build upon.
And we're pretty sure that tonight's honoree knows a great deal about the subject, as he has diligently worked to uphold and continue the important and incredible legacy of not just simply a Memphis institution, not just an American institution, but a worldwide institution that we are proud to have located right here in Memphis, Tennessee.
We are so very honored to be able to present this year's Legacy Award to Rick Shadiak of ALSAC, the fundraising and awareness organization for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
You know, it starts in the 1950s, Jeremy. So Dad was a Department of Justice lawyer, and he got this phone call, and it was Danny Thomas, and he was asked to meet him in a bowling alley in Washington, D.C., and to bring a couple of his friends, and he wanted to talk to him about this idea he had about building a children's hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. And Dad went, and Danny Thomas told him that they were going to build this hospital, they were going to treat catastrophically ill kids, they were going to treat them without regard to race, creed, religion, or ability to pay, and they were going to put it in Memphis, Tennessee. And you know, Dad looked at him and said, why, Danny? Why are we going to do this? And he said, for two reasons. We're going to say thank you to God and to the United States of America for allowing their parents, my grandparents, the opportunity to come to this country and to make a living. And you know, fast forward almost 60 years now, because ALSAC was created in 1957, 54 years for St. Jude, and here we are today, the premier pediatric cancer research hospital in the whole world, and I have the privilege of carrying on my father's legacy and the legacy of all these incredible founders.
And talk about the success, moving the needle when you talk about the research, but the cure rates for what you're doing.
You know, overall, when we opened the doors to St. Jude, the survival rates were around 20% for kids with cancer. Fast forward 54 years, and it's 80%. And we're working to get it to 90%. And we're not going to stop until no child dies from cancer. And that's what our founder wanted. You know, the first disease we tackled, leukemia, had a survival rate of 4%. So 96 out of 100 kids that would be diagnosed would pass away, and pass away quickly. Again, you go fast forward 54 years, 94% survival rate, but that's still not good enough.
What does it mean for you personally to step into the shoes of your father, but to take this in a whole new direction with where we're headed?
You know, it's humbling. It's really humbling to walk in the footsteps of my father and to try to carry on this amazing mission that Danny Thomas created. And I think back all the time about how important that decision was that day when my father said yes to Danny Thomas, how visionary Danny Thomas was. I mean, think about the idea that he opened up a fully integrated hospital in the South in the 1960s, and think about how revolutionary the idea was that economics would be taken totally out of the equation, and that moms and dads would not have to make healthcare decisions based upon how much money they had, and that no family would receive a bill from St. Jude. That's just remarkable, especially in this day and age, and to be able to continue that mission, to have more and more people come and embrace that mission, and to touch the lives of kids, doesn't get any better for me. It's just a true privilege.
What is it like to interact with the families at St. Jude?
You know, Jeremy, I really have the privilege of being able to get to know some of the most remarkable kids and moms and dads that anyone will ever meet. When I think about the strength and the courage and the resilience of these patients, it's absolutely remarkable how they can still find joy in their lives, joy in just being alive every single day. At the very same time, you know, they're struggling with pain. They've lost their hair. In some cases, they've had amputations. Just they're sick because they're on chemotherapy. They're not feeling well, but yet, you know, they're smiling and they're playful and they're thankful. Okay, and the moms and dads are just so hopeful, and it's just deeply inspiring to me. I mean, I have the opportunity every single day to serve the best mission on the planet. It doesn't get any better than serving kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Spark Awards 2016 Legacy Award recipient, Rick Shadyac.
Thank you so much for this award. I'm deeply humbled, and I receive it on behalf of my family and all of my ALSAC colleagues. The Legacy Award means so much to me because I have the privilege of carrying forward my father's legacy and the legacy of Danny Thomas of finding cures and saving children's lives. And to be able to raise the money and to create the awareness necessary to support this mission is just so important to me. So thank you very, very much.
And now let's give a nice round of applause for Rick Shadyac and all of tonight's winners.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the 3rd Annual Spark Awards, the Spark Awards 2016. More importantly, thank you to all the honorees for your service to our community, your sacrifice, your efforts, the difference that you're making. You are the Spark. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you again to our hosts, Tom and Tracy, and all of our sponsors for making this possible, to City Current and also WKNO. Enjoy your evening. Thank you again for being a part of the Spark Awards.
The Spark Awards 2016 is made possible in part by the following.
Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a sponsor of the Spark Awards 2016.
Lipscomb & Fitz Insurance has been serving the Mid-South for over 60 years. We're proud to help honor those who share our goal of supporting our community, giving back, and igniting positive change. Lipscomb & Fitz is proud to be a sponsor of the Spark Awards 2016.
Since 1964, Memphis Theological Seminary has worked to equip men and women of all races and faiths with the spark to do ministry for the real world. We're grateful to serve our community and proud to support WKNO.
Champion Awards and Apparel bring brands to life on all types of custom printed products. T-shirtchampions.com makes it easy for individuals and organizations to promote their cause and celebrate achievement. Champion is proud to have created the Spark statue and to sponsor the Spark Awards.
The Rotary Club of Memphis is grounded in the principle of fellowship through service. We're proud to sponsor the Spark Awards 2016 in memory of our longtime member and WKNO personality, Jim Eichner, and to recognize and celebrate those in our community who are serving others and making a difference.
Additional funding provided by Christian Brothers University, by Meriton, by YX Genomics, and by SERVES.